business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Inspiration, motivation takes. Listen to the podcast.
Welcome to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. Every episode is an invitation, a reminder that business and life isn't just about profit. It's about purpose. It's about showing up with a servant's heart in every deal, every decision, every day to make a powerful impact on others. Today's guest, he's lit me up already. I spent, I think, 10, 15 minutes with him. I am so fired up to have you listen to him today and watch him and see him, because he's going to motivate you. He's going to challenge you. And more importantly, you're going to walk away tools he's going to share with us that inspire action, both for in your life, and guess what, in the life of others. So share this out and let's help and impact others. Here's your homework today, audience. How are you going to serve yourself and others today? Today, it doesn't have to be a big impact. Even a small act of kindness or courage can change the game. So let's lean in, let's take notes, let's discover how servant leadership in business can create ripple effects that last far beyond that bottom line. And a big thanks to my sponsor, Epic Impact. In just 4 steps, I can tell a story: engaging, persuading, inspiring, and closing with clarity. I use this every day and it works. I try it for free at epicimpact.ai with the code Steve. Change your message, change your results. Quick shout out and thank you to my guest. We hit top 20 in small business marketing. And I thank all of you, audience, and my previous guest, because guess what? We're making an impact. And let's continue doing that, whether it's my podcast or the guests. Share them out. Let's impact others. So let's jump right in. Let's welcome our guest. Tim, welcome to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart.
Thank you, Steve. Always a pleasure to get to hang out with amazing leaders who are out there doing good in the world, and that certainly is you. So I feel privileged to be having this conversation with you today.
Man, you couldn't start the show any better. I really appreciate that. And we're all trying to get more people to have more of an impact. I think the world is tilting that way. But the unconscious mind, we talked about it. It's a powerful thing. That's what you're an expert on. Talk about that. What your thoughts are.
Yeah, it's like you got 2 parts of your brain. You got your conscious mind and your unconscious mind. Sometimes people call it your subconscious, right? And your unconscious mind controls 80% of what you do. It stores your beliefs, your habits, your values, and it's the part of you that is really running the show. Most of us are focusing on mindset, right? That's our conscious mind. That's the 20% of us, where we're trying to use willpower and affirmations and showing up, trying to be the best version of ourselves that we can. And it's also where we get stuck, though. We get stuck because we have imposter syndrome, or we get stressed out, or we worry, or we feel like no matter what we do, it's never enough. And so we try to use willpower and have a positive attitude to get through that. And I found that that's like cutting the top off of weeds. What you got to do when you're feeling stuck is you got to pull the weeds out at the root, and those weeds are rooted in your unconscious mind. And so that's why I ended up specializing in I'm like the geek squad for your brain. I go and I upgrade the human operating system. Some of the code that's in there, we've got some malware, and it just needs to be removed so we can optimize how you show up and serve in life. And that's what I do.
I love that, because people kind of resemble the brain as a computer. They'll talk about the time your computer. I love the malware part of it, because we all have that from past and future. So your tool that you use is hypnosis. I know there's a lot of controversy, and I've had it and I've loved it, to be completely to be open with everybody. I've done it and it's been great. Why did you go that direction?
Well, it wasn't on purpose. I was in school working on my degrees for psychology. I was going to be a group therapist, and a clinical psychoanalyst. Whoa. One of those people that sit there and say, tell me about your mother, and just, tell me, how does that feel? And do that for like 30 years. But I didn't really like that. I wanted results immediately. And I was in a class a couple years in working on my bachelor's, and they had guest speakers coming in, and one of them happened to be a hypnotist, and he asked for a volunteer. So I'm like, I'll cluck like a chicken. I didn't know anything about hypnosis. And I figured I would just make everybody laugh. And what happened, though, was he told me I was going to feel really relaxed, and then I was going to start to feel really confident. And that's exactly what happened. I started feeling so relaxed. It was the first time, Steve, that knot in my stomach, that anxiety that I always carried around, disappeared. Now it came back because I was good at doing anxiety, even though I didn't know I was doing it. I thought it was happening to me. But during that few minutes of the hypnosis, I felt a state of ease, a feeling of peace that I just was not familiar with. And so I ended up going and learning how to use hypnosis, which I discovered is just your brainwave states. We go in and out of hypnosis every day, at least twice a day, right before you fall asleep at night, right before you get out of bed in the morning. When you're watching TV and you're really into a good show, and someone talks to you and you're like, huh, what? You are kind of in a trance. Or if you ever taken a road trip and you're going down that endless highway, and all of a sudden you kind of pop out of it and you're a few miles down the road, you don't quite remember driving them. These are all natural examples of hypnosis. In fact, your television is the best hypnotist on the planet. TV commercials are hypnotic suggestions. That's why they keep playing the same one over and over again. And so it's a very natural phenomenon. It just has been made to look like it's, mind control and creepy guys that are trying to control you, because that's what we see in the movies. And that's what we see when they use it for entertainment in Las Vegas. But it's really a natural phenomenon. And when you use it, you can, it's astonishing what you can accomplish. You can truly use the power of your mind to create your life by design.
I've never heard anybody talk about hypnosis this way. You're right. As you're talking about roads, I'm going up and down. Oh yeah, I'm sure audience are doing the same thing. You watch TV and your wife's yelling, "Hey, your dinner's ready," and you're not answering because you're tied to the game or the movie or whatever. So we're in hypnosis a lot, almost daily, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Some people, you can see some people, you just know they're walking around in a trance. In fact, they say most teenagers are just walking around in trance. In fact, they're really entranced by the phones now. If we can't find our phone, most of us go into a full out panic, right? And so we've just been hypnotized to need that phone. And it is very powerful. You can see how our phones are dividing our nation just because of all the information that's getting sent to different people, and we believe what we see and hear, and what we think influences how we feel and how we behave. And people don't realize that if you don't understand fully how your mind works, you're probably being manipulated by the people who do understand it.
Yeah. One belief away. It's a statement of 3 words. It's so powerful. What does it mean?
Yeah. So for years, so I've been in private practice, coaching and helping people for 30 years. And I've facilitated over 16,000 sessions. And what I discovered is that there's 2 approaches for hypnotherapy. The first approach is just get someone relaxed and give them a lot of affirmations. But I found that is like throwing, like cutting the top off of weeds. It's not really getting to the root of it. And so I discovered that you got to really upgrade the core beliefs that are driving the beliefs, or that are driving the behaviors, that are driving the negative thoughts, right? Go to the source instead of just dealing with the symptoms. And when you do that, it's like pulling the weeds and planting flowers. And if you plant enough flowers, you change the soil that makes it more conducive for growing flowers, right? So if you don't have to try to get rid of negative thoughts, you just upgrade beliefs that optimize you for thinking in more proactive, empowering, optimistic ways. And so that's where I realized that most people are just one belief away from having a huge breakthrough in their life. Like, for example, I was working with Kathleen one time, or I've worked with many people over the years for weight loss, and Kathleen was near 300 pounds. She said, diets don't work for me. I've tried everything. Can you hypnotize me to just be a happy fat person? And then she started crying. So I knew that's not what she really wanted. And what she really wanted was to be thinner and happy, but she just could not do it. She'd lose 50 pounds, she'd gain 60 pounds back in the next 6 months. So because of this one belief away method, I realized that we had to find the beliefs that were causing this to happen. And it turned out that she had a poor relationship with her dad. And when she was a young girl, she formed this belief that I'm not worth taking care of. So every time she tried to take care of herself and she got results, her brain sabotaged her because she's not worth taking care of. So she lost all her results. People do it with weight, they do it with money, they do it with businesses, they do it with relationships, right? We have these limiting beliefs that drive all these symptoms. So we upgraded the beliefs and trained her mind to believe that she is more than worthy, that she is fully loved, and that by taking care of herself, it's an act of love. And so she didn't focus on losing weight. She focused on loving herself. And within 10 months, she was down 144 pounds. And she's kept it off the last 9 years.
And that's the powerful statement of keeping it off. That's amazing.
Mhm.
Audience, this guy's amazing. Yeah, you're like, oh, here goes Steve again. No, that's amazing. Because social media, TV that we mentioned, we're so transfixed, and we're coming out of COVID, and mental health has blown up. Suicide, off the charts. Can hypnosis help with that?
It is helping with that. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I've helped so many people to, and not just me, but hypnotists around the world, are helping people to get rid of that desperation, that feeling of loneliness, that feeling of disconnection, that feeling of insecurity, that I'm not enough and I won't be loved and nobody cares, right? That deep despair is what drives our addictions. It's what drives our bad habits. It's what drives the self-sabotage. It's what drives this imposter syndrome, right? And so when you start to upgrade those beliefs, it's amazing the turnaround and how fast. There's a big myth in the psychology field that you've got to spend years and years working on yourself. It could take a couple of years to get rid of a phobia and an intense irrational fear. I've gotten rid of those phobias in 5 minutes, right? And helped so many people have huge breakthroughs in the first session that they had been working on for 20 years. So we put limits on ourselves. But there's this new movie that's premiering we were talking about called Zero Limits. It'll be on Amazon and Apple TV when you hear this interview, and watch it, because it's all about zero limits, and freeing ourselves from limitations. And really, it's a way of helping us to get closer to divinity, and to grow a stronger relationship with God and with ourselves. And then we can do that with those around us, and that builds community.
So I'm going to do this that I rarely do. Is I'm loving you, Tim. I'm really loving what you're talking about. So audience, the first 2 people that reach out to me that watch the movie, I don't know how you're going to prove it, but reach out and say, I watched the whole movie. I'm going to send you a book for free.
Nice.
Because
nice.
I want people to see this. I can't wait. You said it's tomorrow, right? This is
Yeah,
September 24th.
It releases September 25th, 2025.
Okay. But God, with the date out, I will be watching that tomorrow. My wife will be working. I now have my new movie I'm going to watch. I love it because I've seen it. I've lost 45 pounds since May. And
congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you. And I'm hearing Kathleen's story. I'm like, I had the same thing. I had all these phobias. And that's why I was in the fitness industry. People that know me, like, you're in the fitness. How could you be 292 pounds?
Sure.
Crazy stuff. And I had to get through it. And so let's tell the
story. I had cardiologist clients, that were smoking 3 packs a day. Wow. They know better. I have a lot of nurses, respiratory nurses, that are smoking. So we know that it's bad for us, but we don't know how to break it, because in our brain associates pleasure to these behaviors. So it's kind of like, I've had people that have had lung cancer, stage 4 lung cancer. They beat it, right, which is a miracle, and then they start smoking again, and you're like, how is that possible, right? Or type 2 diabetes, and then people are still chugging, sodas, and you're like, why are you doing that? And it's because it feels like you're in the ocean with your life jacket, and you're splashing around afraid you're going to drown, and someone's saying, give me the life jacket. And you're like, no way. This is my best friend. This is what keeps me safe. It's how I connect with myself. It's what gives me a distraction from life. It's my reward system. And you're telling me to give it up. And what I say to that is, no, what we're saying is that we're going to trade up. I'm going to show up in a boat, right? And we're going to get you out of the ocean, right? So we're going to upgrade your life. So many people, Steve, they live by life by subtraction. What do I got to give up? What do I got to lose? What do I got to trade, right? Where I live by addition. What are we going to add? And then let's shift into multiply, right? Man. And that's what this is really about.
It is. Well, let's talk about, because hypnosis is, like you said in the beginning of the show, people are like, the TV movies, the series, look, there's that crazy, go to Vegas and here's a guy going to do this. It's all entertainment. So I'm so fired up right now. I lost my train of thought. So, okay, let's talk about, how do people get involved with hypnosis? What do they do? Because you're well, let's do this. Tell Paula Davis's story. That's what I want to talk about. That's another story, because I think stories give people credibility to be able to jump in and work with you.
Yeah, if you want to see the story in action, it's in Zero Limits, because I shared, a
Yeah.
couple about, I talked about Kathleen, and I talked about Paula, and then I talked about Joe, and how we turned him into a multi-million-dollar sales professional. So he was struggling to sell ice, in the summer. So
Jeez.
yeah, just by upgrading your beliefs. So Paula, we chatted, and all I did was get Paula to believe in herself. It was a very quick conversation, but I decided to believe in her more than she didn't believe in herself, right? Like sometimes you just need one person to believe in you so much that you can jump on board. And most people don't have that, right? So we have to learn how to become our own best friend and give ourselves what we need instead of being resentful that others haven't done it for us, because that resentment is going to keep you stuck. It's like drinking poison and expecting someone else to die. It only poisons us, right? So I just helped her to really believe that she could do anything that she wanted. And she was already in fitness, but she had been struggling for many years. She had cancer, she had a double mastectomy, she was turning to alcohol, she had gained a lot of weight, her relationship was on the rocks, she was just miserable. And, going through cancer and then changing your body in that kind of dramatic way is going to have an effect on you. But it wasn't who she was. It was just an experience she was having, right? We are much more powerful than our experiences because we are the experiencers and we are a reflection of the perfection. And so when I poured into her in that way, she believed it. She poured into herself in that way. And she had this audacious goal that she wanted to be a natural bodybuilder by the time she was 50. And when I met her, she was 49. And so I encouraged her full on to go for it, and she did. It lit a fire underneath her. And a year later, she had lost like 50 pounds. She got really shredded. She did it all natural, and then she placed third in her first competition, and that got her so excited that she placed in the top three that she went all in. And when you go all in, that's when you win. Most people don't go all in. They just keep coming up with excuses. And so she went all in, and the next competition, she won first place, and then she just kept doing it. And now she's won several first place championships as a natural bodybuilder in her 50s. And it's extraordinary. When you look at her, you're like, damn, that's impressive,
Amen.
because she's shredded, and so happy and such a giver. And she uses that to inspire young women because she has a servant leadership heart, right? And so she is using her success to inspire others. And she's a beautiful human being.
What a gift you're giving. You're an absolute gift you are, Tim. Let's end the show with this, because let's go to the negative side. What's the misconceptions of hypnosis that you can challenge right now?
Oh, that people can't be hypnotized, that someone's going to control you, that you're going to leak out all your secrets, that they're going to manipulate you, that you're going to let the devil in. And when your life's a mess, I'm like, honey, the devil's already in. Our goal is to get the devil out, right? We want to
Oh,
bring Jesus in. That's what we're going to do. And so,
amen.
so yeah. So again, it's a lack of education or misunderstanding or just coming from fear instead of coming from faith. God made everything, including us and hypnosis. And so, it's a tool like anything else. You can use the power of your mind to prepare you or scare you. So what are you going to do? Choose wisely.
What a way to end the show. Holy moly. Well, I want to ask you a personal question. I want the audience, because I'm sure some people are fired up right now listening to you like I am. So I've reserved a table at a restaurant for you, table of four. You're going to sit in one of the chairs. In the three empty chairs, who you're going to invite, whether they're dead or alive, to sit and talk to you, get to know, learn from, mentor. But the other question, the most important one, is what food would you order?
I play these games with my kids because, they're 18 and 21 now. I have two boys, and I'll ask them that as well because I'm just fascinated by the questions. And so I always try to find someone who is like super creative, so maybe who's the guy that created like the first helicopter drawings? Do you know who I'm talking about?
I can't think of his name.
Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name. But anyway, he was a famous inventor. I thought he'd be really cool to meet. I think that Jim Carrey is amazing. I think he's really funny and just on, and I relate to that because he's just always going, and he's had this spiritual revolution, and he's really talked about it publicly. So kind of didn't care. He was going to stand behind his faith and not care about the retribution or what might happen in Hollywood or all that stuff. And so I think I'd bring him. And then, I mean, that would be amazing if Jesus would hang out. I would love to bring Jesus to the table. Yeah. That would be
awesome.
Yeah. I think I want that until he holds me so accountable that I feel like a schmuck.
Yeah. But he'll work with you. That's the good thing about you. He'll work with you.
Amen. That's right. That's right. So, and then, it's going to drive me nuts that I can't remember that inventor's name. He's so famous. So, and then what would I order? I had a really great meal at, and I don't eat a lot of steak, but I had a really great steak at the other day at one of those Texas Roadhouse, and it was a Tuesday for lunch, so it was like $15.
Wow.
Last time I was at a steak place, it was $81 for a 6-ounce steak. It was just ridiculous, right? And so $15, this awesome steak. So I would order, if I could order, I would order that steak and a baked potato and a side of broccoli. I thought that was, that's the first thing that comes to mind today.
Well, I'm going to slide another chair in to sit next to you because I want to have steak and potatoes with you too. That sounds awesome. We're coming up to lunch, so it's perfect timing. Thank you again. You are a true blessing. You have a business, but you have that servant's heart where you're helping people. And I tell people all the time, we should get paid if we're helping people. That's the way the world lives. It is what it is. And I appreciate you doing that. But I know people listening are going to want to reach out. How can they find you?
You can go to timshurr.com, or if you're into learning more about hypnosis, I got a lot of free resources at Indy, INDY. It's short for Indianapolis. That's where I started my practice 30 years ago. So indyhypnosis.com, a lot of free tools and strategies and programs that you can use to make your life better. So that's the easiest place. And I make myself accessible. I don't want to be one of those guys that has a 15-door keepers in front of me. If you want to talk to me, then there's a dozen ways where you can reach out and say hello. I'd love to chat with you.
And I'll put that in the show notes. And I love the 15 doors. I'm going to use that. Audie, that's a pretty good one. I got to go through 15. Gatekeepers is another word people use. But I like the 15.
Gatekeepers. Yeah, that's right.
The 15 gatekeepers. You end with a servant's heart by giving away free stuff. Tim, you're the real deal. Audience, please reach out to him. Thanks for taking the time to be on the show. And here's your homework at the end, audience. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Here's why. This is a gift, this link, this show. It's an absolute gift. You share it with somebody that wants to lose weight, that has stress, that wants to do something, and they're stuck. This is the guy they need to listen to. And then they reach out to him, or they get his free resources. You've impacted that person. You've given that gift of impact. Let's continue doing that. And me and Tim want to thank all of you for watching or listening to this podcast. And we'll see you all in the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. Have a great day, everyone.